Alright. Think you guys can hear me. Can somebody just type if they can make sure they can hear my mic? That's all I want to make sure of. Alright. No, it's not. It's been about 2.5 weeks, market. And if you remember how we split up the tests, remember it's like 10 questions, 10 questions. I don't do the whole big unit test. It may end and restart really quick just because oh, wow, even Josh is back. Alright. I'm gonna give him one more minute and then I'll start. I said hi, market. Alright, it's 7 o'clock. If people aren't here, then they're not going to be here or they can watch the recording. Alright, so, naturalization, citizenship. So these are basically study charts. They can kind of help you just doing a quick glance at it. So here we have the definition of a citizen. I think you guys have a good understanding that it's the rights and duties, they're loyal to the government and they owe allegiance to them. In return, the government does work for them, but that's essentially what you need to know about a citizen is that they have certain rights and duties and allegiance. They might substitute the word for loyalty, but you're looking at something, any synonym like that works. You teach civics, don't get offended. All right, good to know, Market. Um, the 14th Amendment is, and basically you just need 14th citizenship. If there's asking for any amendment that talks about citizenship in any capacity, you should already know it's 14. The only two numbers you should even guess are 1 and 14, and right now we're just talking about 14. If you even look for a little test tip, I told you how I split them up 3A and 3B. 3A is citizenship. So if you take the 3A test, the only number is 14. If you're taking the 3B test, the only number is 1. But, again, you still need to know the difference. 3A, 14th Amendment citizenship. First Amendment is our freedoms, but we'll get into that in a second. This line, as you can see, might come up here. All persons born or naturalized in the United States. So there's our two ways to become a citizen, either by birth or by going through the naturalization process. We'll talk about that process in a second. So we got there's two. So naturalization for the years. Oh yeah, hey, yeah, Chase. As you can tell, there's people from my past years that are here. It's just a matter of you know, uh, who wants to watch it. Some people do. Maybe they'll watch it on recording. I guarantee by the time I look at it tomorrow, this video will probably have at least 20 or 30 views. And like I said, there's no brownie points for watching, no bad discipline points if you don't watch it. So anyways, back to the point. Naturalization. You gotta sign up. That's the first step. Second step is you gotta, once you're an alien coming here, you gotta be here for 5 years. 3 if you marry an American citizen. The main parts they're really gonna ask you about are these ones right here. You gotta demonstrate knowledge of American history and government. So when it says principles, that's another way of them saying government. It's really American government and American history. And you have to be able to read, write, and speak English. So here it just says speak and write, but they usually include the word read as well. So read, write, and speak English. Um, Another question they like to pop on you guys is, oh, let me finish this off. So after you've passed the test, you've done the interview, all that good stuff. That last step, that the ceremony you attend is called the Oath of Allegiance. That's where basically you stand there. They call the countries out, and you say a little oath saying how you're going to be loyal to the United States, and congrats, you're a citizen. Another question they like to go with is up here. So immigration and naturalization, in particular, have led to us becoming diverse. Remember that diverse means different. So we look around the classroom, everybody's different. Different religions, different ethnicities, whatever the case may be. We're a melting pot of a culture. They like to use the word diverse. Just means different. Difference between alien and immigration. Alien means you are visiting. So if you ever went on vacation to another country, you are an alien in that country. If someone were to come here to get their degree at Harvard, say they lived in England, they came here to get a degree at Harvard, they would be an alien even if they lived here for 4 years getting that degree. Their intention is to return home. And they have a visa to do so and all that kind of stuff. If their intention is to live here and make this now their permanent home, then they are considered, and once they've completed the citizenship process, an immigrant. So, alien is not necessarily a derogatory term. I know that in the news media it's always used that way. It's just what the word is. So, for instance, years ago I went on a trip with my family to Mexico. I was an alien when I was in Mexico. I didn't want to move there and live there, but I was visiting there, so therefore I was an alien. Immigrant is when you permanently move from another country to another country. So we did the steps of naturalization. We did alien immigrant. We did how you become citizen, birth and naturalization. We did diverse. And we talked about the 14th Amendment. I think those are all our big things to knock off right there. Do you need to know the order? Yeah, Chase, I would say you need to... yeah, know the order. It's not bad. Just the years of everything, that you can kind of do things in between. But when we get in real life, Chase, it's not as perfectly neat as it sounds on paper. Like, I'm sure you've seen how the government works in the news. Things drag out. Things may take longer. But in terms of how we teach it and how we're taught to teach it to you, yes, it comes in that nice little package with a big bow on it, how it's going to happen, this, and this. So I know that may not be the best answer you want to hear, but I'm just telling you that so that you understand what to expect in case they might ask you on the SOL about it. Alright, so the other part is First Amendment. So see First Amendment up here. And when there's 5 freedoms that go with it. First one is freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and freedom of petition. This part down here, not going to be on the test. We're going to cover that more when we get to the courts. That's why I haven't put any emphasis on it at all. If I made a mistake and there happens to be a question on our test, I made it, but I just can't remember off the top of my head if I put it on there when I looked at it for some reason right now. If there is, I will help you guys out and make sure you're aware of it, because I told you it's not going to be on there, and that's not fair to you guys. So, religion. Okay. Basically says that anybody can worship or pray however they feel like it. Alicia, yeah, what Chase said, after I'm done doing the video, it will automatically archive, meaning save. It might take like 5 minutes, but then you can watch it and pause it and do whatever you want, okay? So, and I got some questions I'm going to do with you guys after this as well. So it's not just going to be me showing this 2 pages online and then saying, okay, good luck. So I will review with you a little bit more. So as I was saying, religion. You can pray, worship whomever you want, as long as it doesn't affect anybody else's ability to do so, or their ability to live their lives without, you intruding onto them. So, that's why, if you were trying to worship Satan, you're trying to do animal sacrifices. Well, that's why we have cruelty to animal laws, that you couldn't do it that way. I know it's a random example, but I'm trying to make sure you understand. Like, it's not absolute. There's a separation of church and state. So there's supposed to be this wall. Now, it's not perfect. Okay, there's still where the wall bends and bleeds, and some people think it should. Some people it does thinks the wall should be absolute. Um, and we have many court cases about this. But the idea is that government will run government, religion will run religion. They're not going to interact with each other. And whatever your religion is, go ahead and worship it as long as it doesn't affect anyone else. So that's the idea behind freedom of religion. Um, freedom of speech. Now, a lot of you guys had trouble with this one today when we did the review question. So freedom of speech allows you to say what you want, to whom you want, and all that kind of stuff. Now, in your notes, you already know the things you can do and you can't do. So, as you see this one right here, a few rights, if any, are considered absolute. Instead of me saying this to you and you trying to figure out what it means, that's why I did the notes the way I did, the can and can't. There are things that every freedom gives you, but it doesn't mean that you can just do whatever the heck you want. You can't go on a plane and start yelling, "There's a bomb on the plane," just, to get a laugh. They will arrest you. You can't yell fire in a movie theater. You can't, for instance, just be being vulgar around a daycare just because you want to be vulgar. Um, you know, there are laws to protect people's rights who don't want to hear that and to protect their safety. So that's where free speech is, limited in certain circumstances. Um, and your clothing acts, we talked about, the example of the unicorn on the shirt for equality for unicorns. I don't know why we did that. Or Kaepernick when he takes his anthem protest, or when LeBron James wore that shirt, or when people wear the armbands to protest the war. You're allowed to say, I disagree, I don't think they should wear the armbands, it's disrespectful to soldiers. You say, hey, they're practicing their freedom of speech, and that's their right, and I applaud that they're speaking their mind in a peaceful manner. You're allowed to believe either way, and they're allowed to speak their mind through words or through what they wear or how they act in a certain way. That is protected under freedom of speech. So the idea being is that as long as I'm not basically, threatening you or causing you, danger, I'm allowed to, I should be allowed to speak my mind. Now, again, it's kind of crazy in today's world. Sometimes people hide behind it, or sometimes try to pervert the freedom of speech to where they, it works for them, but it doesn't work for other people. So there's constant battles about that again. But the idea is we can say what we want, express ourselves how we feel, we need to. Again, as long as we're not really infringing on other people's ability to do so as well. Hi, Idris. If you guys need help with your history classes, I can help you. I've always been in 8th grade. So like Idris, Market, all you guys, like I can teach all those subjects. So if you need help, I can help you. Okay, just let me finish this. So we have press. This is basically the media. So literally, if I just erase this word and I put media here instead, that covers our radio, our TV, our newspapers, online. That's a big expanding market lately. They're allowed to publish information even if the government or whoever they're publishing about doesn't like it, as long as it's true. Now, if they commit outright slander or libel, meaning it's written, slander spoken, libel written, they can be sued. It happens all the time. That's why you'll notice sometimes how they phrase things. Like if you go in the grocery store market and you'll see a picture of like Jennifer Lopez, and they have a picture of her and like an outfit with like a sweater on, and they'll say, "Is J-Lo hiding a baby bump or something?" Well, they say it that way because it's a question. They're not actually saying J-Lo is pregnant, because J-Lo could sue them for libel because she's not, or whatever. But by posing the question, they're putting it in everybody's head, and now they're protected under the libel laws. That's like a sleazy way of looking at it, but the idea of freedom of the press is that it allows the media to keep, they're kind of like almost another branch of government at times, to keep the government officials in check, to let us know, who's doing what, are they doing what they're supposed to, what's going on in the world, to inform us. All right. Now they are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, um, but that is the idea of freedom of the press. Without it, you only get one voice, and that's the government usually. And sometimes, if they want to, how people want to cling to power, that might not be the best source of information either. Chase, what's up, man? Did you have a question? And hey, Jaden, hey, Gabe. Uh, I've had a lot of Chris's, by the way, buddy. So you gotta tell me a last name. All right, back to this. Assembly, peacefully gather. So, I mean, that's basically your giveaway. They almost always put that. If you see a picture, they love to do pictures for a freedom of assembly. If you see a picture and it's a bunch of people standing around holding signs, ding, 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 it's freedom of assembly. All right, you have the right to assemble, to gather, to congregate. They're gonna throw whatever synonym word you can think of for people coming together without actually saying assemble. All right, so it's a group of people coming together. We talked about what can and can't happen. Um, and no, we can't do Kahoot because there's too much delay. Okay, Alicia. So I would, and Christian Casas, I do remember you now. Okay, yes, I remember you. But yes, there's too much delay. Um, yeah, because you moved in the middle of the, or you moved at some point, Christian. I think I recall. So anyways, so that's assemble. Again, you're looking for a large group of people together. And last one, petition. Individuals have the right to make their views known to public officials. Usually you'll see a clipboard and it's signing something like saying, like, we think the school dress code should be fixed or something of that nature. And they need to get signatures and they're showing, see, look, all these people want this changed. They're petitioning the government for change. Another way you could look at it is when you can sue the government. And I taught you about several examples that have happened in history of where they sued the actual government. I mean, if you think about it, Brown versus Board, okay, in case you don't know, that's the Supreme Court where it integrated schools. Well, Brown versus Board of Education is just the local government. It's still them suing the government. They have the right to sue the government because of freedom of petition. So that's what this test is on in a nutshell, guys. What I want to do now. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number in the chat box to see how well you guys do. So go ahead for it really quick. Answer questions 1 through 5. Give me a second to breathe too. Alicia, are you trying to answer the questions? Or are you just trying to talk to Timbit? Well, answer all 5. Answer all 5. So, like, just type it all in one big blurb so it all comes out at once. Okay, Gabe? Alright, well, you're going to type it in the chat box. How can you type in the chat box if you're typing hi to everybody? Hi, Marina. How long is what? Alright. Heba, not bad. So number one, it asked for 2 ways. You gave me 1. So being born in the States is 1. What's the other one? What's the process an immigrant would have to go through, Heba? The live stream will be over once I finish going over these questions. Alright, there you go. So Chase, citizenship by birth and naturalization. Good job. Alright. Second one is the 14th Amendment. Nice. Number 3, which should be in the chart. Oath of allegiance. Perfect, Chase. Number 4, not all of it there for you, Chase. I already told you, Alicia, we can't do Kahoot. You need to be listening. I don't know what to tell you. Marina, we're answering these questions, by the way. So for number 4, you have to be able to read, write, and speak English, but what do you also have to know for the test? What is that test on? 2 things that they test you on. So we got the English, the reading, the writing, and the speaking. What's the other part? U.S. government's half of it. What's the other half? So U.S. government and... There you go, U.S. history. Good job. And then what amendment lists all the freedoms? You got it, First Amendment. All right, good. Let's move on. Let's do the next 5. All right, let's do 6 through 11 here. All right, 6 through 11. So this time, you're not going to be able to fit it all in one blurb. So go ahead and just type out which number you're answering. Hi, Naveed. Naveed, don't let me forget, you left a notebook in my class, by the way. Some of the tests is multiple choice, some of it might not be. So, number 6, they're meeting, they're getting together. Chase is right, it's assembly. So number 7, what is number 7? Can anybody explain it to me? Yes, Naveed, you left like your composition notebook. Alright, so you gave the official answer, Chase. Chase going all dictionary on me. Petition is your right to sue the government, your right to complain, or as Chase said, you have the right to make your views known to public officials. The government works for us. They're supposed to hear us out. All right, let's keep going. Number 8. Chase is right again. Somebody besides Chase. Let's go. So number 8, freedom of the press, because it's talking about a newspaper, so that's the giveaway. So number 9. Oh, 9 we're going to skip. It's just due process. We're going to get into that later. Again, that will not be on my test. So alien and immigrant. What's an alien? What's an immigrant? Bonus points if you can remember how I told you to remember it in class. 2 words for each of them. And yes, you guys all got freedom of the press. Good job. Look at Gabe. That a boy, Gabe. So aliens just visiting. What's immigrant? 10-bit, you gave like the official answer. So someone who's in the process of being a citizen. That's not always true. That's not always true. Um, you know, because technically, again, you can be an alien just by going there. Like you're not becoming a citizen, but you could be an alien if you're going there to get your education there. Okay, so just to be clear, that's why it's not always about the process of being a citizen. All right, so what about immigrant? And number 11, keyword is permanently, as Chase said, someone living permanently and becoming a citizen or trying to become a citizen. All right. So this one owes allegiance to the government. Like right there, that's the only part you need to even care about is saying allegiance, loyalty. So is it alien, immigrant, citizen, or subject? Subject makes no sense. I don't know why somebody would put that. Is citizen, immigrant, alien, which one? You already know I'm going to ask about 13, 14, 15 right after this, so if you want to get a head start. I think there's like 20 questions here, guys. So once we finish with them, that'll probably be it for the live stream unless you have any other questions for me. So number 12 is citizen. Again, you see the loyalty to the government, allegiance to the government. All right. That's why we call that last step of the naturalization process oath of allegiance. You owe allegiance to the government. 13. You see that word diverse again? Well, what caused us to be very diverse? What caused us to be a melting pot? It's two things. So for number 13, two things. Very good on everybody else getting it citizen as well. Heba, you got half of it. Not bad, but Chase got it all. It's immigration and naturalization. All right. They're going to probably want both. All right. Most cases. All right. 14. Oh, actually, wait. I lied. The rest of this stuff is next time. So we ain't got to worry about that. 14 and on is stuff we haven't learned yet. So that is it for now. Yeah. We'll learn about that. That'll be our next unit that we're going to be heading into. So if you want to, you can go back and pause this TV or YouTube review, whatever, if you want to look at that. All right. So you guys got any questions for me before the test? Yeah, don't worry about 14, Chase. Like I said, any questions? On the first test, naturalization, there will be 10. I think on the second one, First Amendment, there's 11. And pretty much all of 11 is going to be, this is an example of which freedom? And I'm expecting you to be able to tell me which freedom it is. So I just answered your question. 10 and 11. So you'll have to open 3A, take 10 questions. That'll be one grade in the grade book. You'll open 3B, take the test. That'll be one grade in the grade book. The test is tomorrow, Naveed. That's kind of scary. You don't know that. What was a person called when they have work at a different place? I don't understand what you're asking there, Gabe. Are these same questions going to be on the test? Honestly, probably not. We pull our questions from the SOL or for past SOLs, from like there's this bank I guess we have access to, so if they make sense we add them, but sometimes their questions aren't very good, to be honest. And then there's also like we make our own questions. Yo, you did forget Naveed. Any other questions? First Amendment's the freedoms, 14th Amendment is citizenship. So if you're struggling, like narrow it down just to that. First Amendment freedoms, 14th Amendment citizenship. Well, I think you're asking what they would be called, whether it's an alien or an immigrant game. So if they're just going there for work, and let's say like even if they're working there for one day and they go back home, like they cross the border, they'd be an alien for the time they were over there. If they went over there for 6 months and then came back home, they'd be an alien. Unless they permanently move there and are like residing there, they're an alien, and they have basically what's called a work visa. I think you guys will be fine for this test. This is one of the easier tests. Um, I know I'm a teacher. All the tests are easy to me. Blah blah blah. I will be legit. There are some harder tests, harder units. This is not a harder unit. The next one is not a hard. The next test will not be hard. The following one, when we start doing documents and principles and all that kind of stuff, I will tell you right now, some of you who get easy A's on this first test will not study as hard, and then you guys get C's and D's on on that section of test because you don't take it serious. That would be the one where you will start seeing a hard test. But as long as you've been paying attention in my class, all this will be easy. Most of you guys, you know, are paying attention. Some of you are struggling to pay attention. Someone gave If someone gave birth while in the process of being a citizen, well, if that person was an alien living in the United States and they were working on that 5 and 5 or 3.5, depending if they were married to an American citizen, then wouldn't they be on U.S. soil? Therefore, the child that was born on U.S. soil would automatically be a U.S. citizen. Are there any trick questions? No. Remember, you guys got your study guides. Um, this video again will be saved, so you can like skip around to parts where you know, like if you want to go back and look. Anything else? All right. Um, any of my older kids still here that need help with their high school courses? Yes, there are retakes, assuming you fill out the request to retest form, which means you gotta get it signed by your parent, and you have to complete all the work. All right. Well, I take it all my older kids must have left already, so they don't need my help, and you guys are not asking any questions, so I'm gonna get off. You all have a good night.